Dear Thầy, dear friends, dear Sangha, last Wednesday we celebrated the Lunar New Year, and we did some fortune telling using the tale of Kiều, Bói Kiều. And I know with my horoscope sign, the Chinese horoscope sign, I was born in the year of the pig. I am a pig. And this year, the year of the snake, should not be too good for me, according to the four signs in the horoscope that are fighting each other. And also, not only that, I also being shined by a star, which is called in Vietnamese Sao Kim, and the name in Chinese is Thái Bạch. And somehow the equivalent of that star in the solar system is Venus. And tonight, during the walk, I saw Venus shining in the sky. And I don't like that. Go away. I'm kidding. But the tale of Kiều should be right, because last week, in the middle of minus 20 degrees outside, my car stalled. And I had to walk home in the cold and call the towing people who came to boost my car so I can bring my car to the garage. And the garagist told me, your battery is dead. He said, how long you have been running with this battery? I said, something like 14 years. He said, you are lucky. So I have now almost a brand new car with some components replaced. And during that time, we also introduced to you the new Plum Village 2025 New Year parallel works. So some of the works are being glued on the back of the piano. And also we have some spare copies here that you are invited to take one home if you like. So I will go to my next slide. So this is the English translation in Vietnamese. Mỗi hơi thở nuôi dưỡng. And it was translated as each breath gives life. I don't like it very much, so I put my translation on the left. Each mindful breath nourishes us. And in Vietnamese, for the second verse, mỗi bước chân trị liệu. And here it says each step brings healing, which is excellent translation. But I would prefer to use each mindful step is healing. So now I will tell you what I think. On the next slide, why each mindful breath nourishes us. Because first of all, we all know that breathing is the process of inhaling oxygen and exhaling carbon dioxide. So on the right, I put a picture describing the respiratory system. So if you take the first course in, I don't know, biology or anatomy or whatever, physiology, we were taught how breathing nourishes by transforming the blood, having oxygen, and get rid of the waste, which is carbon dioxide. But if we just breathe without knowing that we breathe, I guess that's okay too, because some people, they don't do conscious breathing and they are happy and they live up to 100 years old. But in our tradition of practice, the mindful breath is important, which is, I call here, conscious breathing. Because our body is in the here and now, but our mind wanders a lot. So in order to help us to live in the present moment, we need to use our breath. So our breath were considered in the meditation school like a bridge, a rope, a connecting line between our mind and our body. So when you are conscious of your breathing, you are really going into the present moment. And the present moment is that all that counts, right? Because life is present only in the present moment. So if you are here, but your mind is somewhere else, you are not in touch with the wonders of life. The wonders of life could be a sunset or sunrise on a lake or on a field of ice. It could be the birds flying by. It could be the smile of a young child. It could be the white clouds floating on the blue sky. There's a lot in the nature that also is nourishing us. And also, most importantly, when you wake up in the morning and you can practice the Gatha, waking up this morning, I know I have 24 brand new hours in front of me. And I smile because I know I am lucky to be alive. And I vow to look at the people with the eyes of compassion. That was the Gatha that Thầy gave us for our practice when we wake up in the morning. Sometimes imagine in the dark, 4 o'clock in the morning, I woke up and I have to remember myself to smile. If someone watched you somewhere from a camera, they should be surprised that this guy is crazy. He smiled in the dark alone. But if we don't smile, we are we are losing something that is very precious, because on our face we have like 300 pairs of muscle, and when you smile you relax your muscle at the same time. So conscious breathing is important, but I will tell you later, even with conscious breathing, an accident could happen. That happened to me. I will tell you why. Because our ears can only perceive a portion of the sound spectrum. You cannot hear the very low frequency, and you cannot hear the very high frequency. Our eyes also can see only a portion of the light wavelength. I think between 0.4 and 0.9 micro probably meter, very small, and we don't see all the spectrum of light. So we are very limited in our way of seeing and hearing. So that's why sometimes with someone like me who is getting older, there's also something else. You lose your balance easily as compared to the younger person. So I have to be careful. So here we go with the next slide. Each mindful step is healing. So this is, I copy from Thai talk. When our heart is troubled by thoughts and emotions, or when our heart is overwhelmed with a sense of suffering and pain, we should step outside to feel more expansive in the vast space of the earth and sky, which means you have to go out into the nature to let yourself really embed it into that beautiful nature. But with the minus 20 degrees, we cannot do that very often. So we have to dress ourselves very well, and we can still walk outside. But here, with each mindful step, mindful here, which means using our conscious breathing, careful and gentle as we leave our mark on the earth, the dust in our hearts begin to settle. We realize that Mother Earth is supporting our steps, comforting and nurturing us. In that moment, we release the tension in both body and mind. So if you have a park or some nature close to your home, you should often, especially in the summer, do your slow walking, following your breath, and do mindful walking. So as a result, healing and restoration begin to occur naturally, without effort. I go in with my next. So here, I will start telling you my story. Why my passion drove me to have an accident. My specialization in my study field is fluid mechanics. And when I was student at the university, I was so attracted by the work of the scientist Theodor von Kármán. Theodor von Kármán was born in Hungary, and in 1930, feeling the Germans, well, because he was studying in Braunschweig, trying to wrap all the Jewish, and he is a Jewish descendant. He flee to the United States and became a citizen later. So he went to California and he taught at the California Institute of Technology. And he was also the founder of the Jet Propulsion Lab in the US. And at the end of his career, he received the Medal of Science by President John Kennedy, which was one of the highest medals in the US for scientists. And during the time he spent at Braunschweig in Germany, he was directed by one of the most famous scientists of the world, and his name is Ludwig Prandtl. So he worked under Ludwig Prandtl. And during that time, there was another student doing a PhD with Ludwig Prandtl. Ludwig Prandtl would like that student to measure the pressure distribution on a cylinder. So the student put the cylinder in the wind tunnel, try to measure the pressure, and the cylinder started to oscillate. So Prandtl thought that the cylinder is not circular enough, like what he told the student. The student went back, measured everything, and came back and told his director of thesis, "It's very round, sir." Put back to the wind tunnel, it oscillates again. And Prandtl couldn't understand why. He is one of the most famous scientists in Germany at that time. And one day, von Kármán was also a student, and he went to a church in Bologna, visiting the church, and he saw a fresco painted on the wall. And the fresco showed Saint Christopher bringing the Jesus baby on his arm and walking through the river. I am not Catholic, so I don't know what is the story behind it. But if you are a good Catholic, you may share with us why Saint Christopher had to bring the baby Jesus crossing the river. And the foot of Saint Christopher, according to that painting, show the vortices shed behind the foot. Von Kármán was awakened. He went home to Braunschweig and he told his director of thesis, he thinks that there's something shed by the cylinder. And effectively, they did measurement flow visualization later in a water tunnel, and they saw a streak of vortices shed behind the cylinder. That's the picture that you saw. Going up to the next one. And that's the flow that developed behind an airplane, you can see the von Kármán, now we can call it, vortices, and also cloud formation behind some volcanic islands. The picture was taken by the, how you call it, the space station. Yeah, satellite. And you can see the formation of the vortices. So this is real. This is the nature. So small Vinh was obsessed by that. The young Vinh is attracted by that when he was a student. And he continued to do some study, and then one day I was in charge of a test for a group of construction builders coming from the US, from Seattle. And they want to test the Tacoma Bridge, what they call the Tacoma Narrows Bridge, in a wind tunnel. And I was lucky to be part of it. So my dream came true. And one day, a beautiful day, I walked, here, before I continue, to show my problem. You see the Tacoma Narrows. Tacoma Narrows is a strait between the Tacoma Island and another city belonging to the Washington state. And in 1940, November 7, only about 10 days after it was inaugurated, a strong wind struck the Narrows, and the Tacoma Bridge started to oscillate due to the shedding of the vortices behind the bridge deck. So it goes up and down, and after 2 hours, it collapsed. And I have a movie here that I would like to show you. I hope I can play that. Aha. I have the internet, but it doesn't. Here we go. Let's go. This is the inauguration. And then, in real life, you look at the cables, look at the bridge. The bridge deck has the form of what we call a bluff body, and the vortices shed behind it, translated into unequal forces up and down until complete collapse. No one was killed, no one was hurt, fortunately. And this is the first time that bridge builders became aware of the von Kármán vortices. And you know, Canada is one of the best countries specializing in bridge architecture and builders. I was lucky. In my youth time, I was a summer assistant to one of the most famous Canadian scientists at McGill University. and his name is Peter Irwin. Later on, he came to the National Research Council and he developed a technique that allows people who work in the wind tunnel to transform the wind into an atmospheric wind to study bridges. Peter Irwin became so famous that he went to Wales and he opened a research group in Wales called RWDI, I for Irwin. And they have like 12 wind tunnels in Wales. They specialize in bridge building and also high tower. Canadian developed a technique to reduce the vibration of the highest tower in the world in Dubai, because also there's vortices shed behind. So here we go for the next one. And it is Vinh obsession. The young Vinh was attracted by vortices and wake behind the nature, the Canadian loons and Canadian geese. And one day I walked along the riverbank, Rideau River, with my cell phone. That's the picture I took. And somehow, even with the best conscious breathing, I lost my balance. Ta-da! My face struck the ground. I didn't cry. And I show you my face. Vinh. Oops. Come on, here. Vinh face week after week. I don't know what happened. Okay, you can see it. So that is about 5 total weeks. And finally, the blue went away. Every day I have to put hot gauge, water boiling, on my face. 15 minutes. Breathing in, I embrace my wound. Breathing out, I hope you will heal. And with the passion, even if with the best conscious breathing, you can be struck, oh, what happened? By accident. So here is the final sentence that I would like to tell you. We know we must seize these opportunities in the coming new year to live each moment fully, offering peace to ourselves, our loved ones, and to life itself. That's what the parallel works tell us. We pray that the Buddha, our spiritual ancestors, our bloodline ancestors, our ancestors of the land, and our teacher, Thầy, bless us to fulfill our highest noble aspirations. And this is Thầy poem that I translated into English. I am walking legendary steps. Legendary, I translate from Huyền Diệu. I'm not sure if it's good. I am breathing legendary breaths. I am living miraculous moments. And happiness should smile along the path I tread. So be mindful, but be aware that you have a limitation with your perception. And voila, with a deep bow to all of you for your deep listening,